You are listening to a Dynamicworksproductions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show. Welcome back to a special episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast. I'm your host, as always, author, podcaster, and gamer, Tim K. Trotter. Joining me, as always, is the West Coast of the Best Coast, currently wrangling children, the one, the only, Nate Fu.
Howdy, howdy.
And special guests with us tonight are returning fifth time you've been on this show, Greg Smith, comic book writer extraordinaire, along with Cee Raygun.
Hi, everybody. How are y'all?
Excellent. So they're gonna talk a little bit about a Kickstarter that just launched today. Is that correct?
Yeah, we launched this morning. Crazy. And go ahead. I'm all
awesome.
You sound cool. Like that.
No, it launched this morning, and I'm not going to tell Cee right now anything because we'll leave that as a surprise cliffhanger. But
okay. Yeah, I'm not at a point like I don't want to obsess about it. I don't want to be like checking my phone every 10 minutes. Oh my God, 2 more people. All right, we're about $4 because it will. And I'll be broken down, melted down, and drawing stick figures, and stick figures are going to talk, and I'm going to make a comic. But I don't know. This whole Kickstarter process can be a grind, and I just like I'm going to leave it alone for a day or two.
That is what I've heard.
Work on the pages, work on the bits and pieces and stuff.
Cool. So why don't you tell us?
You are wiser than most, right?
So why don't you tell us a little bit about this Kickstarter project of yours? Because I got very little info going into this show.
Well, man, I got going a few months ago. I'm at a point where it's like still trying to get back on my feet after the pandemic and kind of like been holed up with family and stuff. And I got to draw on again, and I got to showing it to Greg. And the more I show Greg, the more it's like, oh my God, yeah, that's working. It's fun. And the energy started kind of happening, and I just started doing this comic book about a space dishwasher, or like the space restaurant, and it kind of grew and evolved into this whole, like sitcom aesthetic, which kind of worked, and the more and more I put together of it, the more it just kind of started growing and everything. And Greg stayed on me about like, let's do a Kickstarter, let's put it together, let's get it going, and we got a few other people like involved, and with a bunch of ideas, and it kind of started happening, So yeah.
Cool. So when you say a space dishwasher, are you talking about a person who washes dishes or an inanimate object dishwasher in space?
He is a person that washes dishes. He just happens to be working in space. Okay. Earth kind of been, it's gone. It's still there, but everything about Earth is scattered to the stars, and everything here is like all out there now. Like every state is a quadrant in the United Space of America.
Okay.
So you got like You got the Texas quadrant, you got the New Jersey quadrant, and you got everything going on now on Earth. And I kind of set that up right at the first page. I had like this sign from space, like showing hanging in space with like a big, it's Texas and Texas quadrant. And then it's going on like on the asteroid town of El Paso 6, where the Zergs is. And it's like the first day for Elliot, he's starting to shift and don't know what to come from it. And he's kind of our eyes and our entryway into the whole story. It's about Scrape. Scrape is the antagonist, but it's really Elliot's story, because he's the guy coming in. He's us, starting a new thing, and all. And I don't know. I just wanted to draw like crazy space stuff, but I kind of wanted to ground it in something that everybody can relate to. And we've all worked food and beverage jobs, everything. So there's that sitcom aspect of a crazy restaurant. You got a little bit of Bob's Burger, a little bit of, Alice's Diner. You got a little bit of, remember Waiting? They did a few years ago with Ryan Reynolds and all that. It's kind of like it's got that interactive. It just happens to be this ensemble of waitresses and cooks and the manager, all are different alien species from all over the galaxy having to work at this restaurant, And then there's Scrape, who's just a madman. He's the guy in the dish pit that pretty much runs the restaurant, whether anybody likes it or not, And it's all the shenanigans and different things they'll get involved in, troubles they'll get into, and trying to get out of and make sure they're not going to get fired in the process. So it's kind of where I'm at with it, setting it up. So yeah.
Okay. And so are you writing it as well as drawing it?
I am writing it, drawing it. I'm pretty much doing anything. The only thing I'm not actually doing is literally physically printing it. So I'm doing the pencils, the letters, and everything. But the thing is I've worked out enough of a process that doing it on my own, I've got it down to where, I don't like write an actual full length script. I've got a story guidelines, and a lot of my writing plays as thumbnails, as roughs. I'm saying, why am I wait? No, I'm not going to show you guys this. Nobody's seen it. All right, pretend right now that I'm showing you all my detailed thumbnails and my process to write a story. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Sounds good.
Keep forgetting we're not like
So what do you need Greg for?
Yeah, exactly.
Greg, what is it you say you do here?
I am like if Cee was a lion, I am the guy that's just there to make sure that he's taken care of.
No. If Cee was like a gorilla, I'm the guy that is going to give him a big Samsonite suitcase to play with. No, I don't know. Actually, Greg has been like really eminent and has like shepherded this thing, along with like Phil, the guy we work with, Phil Haxel, and then Alex, my buddy Lee. They all just sort of came together, and he's been making this happen for me, and that's pretty much what he does, and he's good at it. So I'm like, and plus I first met Greg because I've had him on, I guess I'm on Facebook for the longest, and I came across a copy of his book at Half Price Books in San Antonio a few months ago, like maybe end of the last year. I remember buying it, and I was like, wait a minute, I know this guy. I got him on Facebook, and I read a good chunk of the book on the bus going back home and everything, and I was like, oh my God, I love this, and I messaged him and said, hey, this is you, right? And he's like, yes, sir. And then we got to talking, and the more and more I'd send him stuff to look at, the more it was like, he was like, oh, this needs to happen. So it kind of got me jazzed. So, I mean, he's kept me jazzed about it, which is, really essential, like keeping me like, in place with like wanting to stay focused on it and stuff, because it's been a lot of fun. But yeah.
Which book of his were you reading?
The Junior Brave.
Okay.
Apocalypse. Yeah, it was the first book, and I was like, this artwork is great. The storytelling is great. The dialogue is great. And it flowed really well. What was your artist's name that did?
Zach Lehner.
Oh my God, dude! Yeah, his stuff was just it was just solid cartoon. I loved it. So yeah,
he's good. He's good stuff.
It's interesting because we had his cohort on that book on recently for a different project, Michael Tanner, and he tells a very different story of Greg's involvement with that book.
Of
Wait,
what?
what?
My involvement
On Junior Braves.
on Junior Braves?
He's like, no, it's
Oh.
all me. Like Greg's name is just on the cover.
Whatever. If it wasn't for some crazy random late night drug infused, medical drug infused text message to Mike, we would never. I gotta clarify. I mean, like I had a back injury. I was messed up, man. I was in pain. So.
Okay.
And what happened? Like,
I busted up my back pretty bad. Like, man, it was like 12 years ago now, I think. So back when I was a professional clown, I fell. Yeah, I know, right?
You've told a lot of this story, by the way.
Yeah. No. What C doesn't know. So.
Oh, okay. Well, go forth.
Nor do I.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, Nate.
Oh,
Nate doesn't listen to our own show. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, Nate doesn't listen. Nate doesn't
I listen
care
to
about
all
your
the
freedom.
shows from
That
a certain point on.
That you're in.
So he's never heard this. This is all new to him. It's all new to him.
Perhaps.
Tim.
I don't know.
Perhaps.
We'll see.
But yeah, no, so I had that terrible stilt accident and basically compressed my CI joint through my, was it L6? So basically my whole lower back
too
was
many
just
already.
jammed up. Huh?
It's too many if it's just one.
Yeah, no. Like all the jelly smashed out. The doctor was like, "I'm surprised you even walked in here." And I was like, "I really didn't." It was pretty bad. So like 2 years of bed rest and other stuff, and yeah. But
Oh, wow.
but
And that's when you wrote that way. That's when you wrote Ginger Braves, like
Yeah.
when you were that process.
I didn't
Yeah.
actually know that you were writing it while you were like on bed rest.
yeah, I did it all on an old I'm trying to think, what was it, like an old Nokia sandwich phone. So it
Oh,
was
wow.
like the old style, flipped over. It had a massive keyboard
You had
on
a QWERTY
it.
key.
So yeah, and I just typed it all in there, typed it to Mike, and
Wow.
That's the IBM Selectric of the SMS era.
yes. So I wasn't cool enough to have a sidekick, but I had that sweet ass Nokia sandwich phone,
Right.
and it was in Halo Green, so Master Chief is what I call
Nice.
it.
Right on. There's Chief Helmet right there.
I see it, kind of, yeah, in the back.
Yeah.
But so that's the genesis of Junior Braves, is all through that. And yeah, I didn't even know, like, when I was sending him all these random text messages, that he was with the guy who would become our editor. So like,
It was Only Press that put it out, right?
yeah. So the
Only puts out really great stuff, but they don't take submissions. So you need to crack that nut was an amazing thing. That was great.
Yeah, it was a weird, the perfect storm of like dude in the driver's seat, dude in the passenger seat, and my random text messages. But
Yeah, the way Michael puts it is that he was the master pitcher, and you learned all of his pitching, or you learned how to pitch from him. There.
oh well, I mean, he might be like a Cy Young. I might be a Nolan Ryan. But
There's so much happening on the screen right now.
I know. C's just drawing up some crazy stuff over there.
It is.
But yeah, I finished that piece I was doing earlier when we were live, and that's like in color now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that was sick.
Well, but like I said, I don't want to be showing stuff. It's like I'm just showing you four guys.
Right.
Like I said, we're audio.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna see this video. I promise.
The-
Scout's
cool,
honor.
The cool thing. Scout's honor. Yeah.
Greg knows that I'm a legitimate one because that's how we met.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Actually.
The fun part about with the stuff that Cee's been doing,
Yeah.
that like when we first started talking, a lot of the stuff that he kicked me over was from previous things. So I became a fan of his through like some of his other books, like the Wendell, and when he was working on this other book, Hyperdank, which I think like is really cool because there's aspects of that not like style and story in Scrape, and then inside.
It literally, the thing about Hyperdank is that, I kind of wanted to set out. I was like, you know what? I'm always doing like hardcore, gritty, noir stuff, full of language. I was like, and then I had my aunt asked me one time. I told her my influence was Quentin Tarantino, and they were like, well, can't you make a Quentin Tarantino like movie for everyone, for the whole family? And I'm like,
what does that mean?
Right?
what does that mean? You want a PG Quentin Tarantino movie? Like what?
If you read the Hyperdank, I did 11 pages, and it's basically about this low life getaway driver. It has a car that's like a commemorative spaceship car from the Buck Rogers set, and that's what he uses. And he winds up having to inadvertently kidnap a kid who's with a space helmet on, who's convinced he's from another planet, and then everything goes smoky and it on acid, you know. And I've got him still using language, but I use the ampersands. You know how to use the ampersand and the exclamation mark and all that to every time I'd say something, and then like there was a whole balloon that was full of nothing but those, you know, like
Gotcha.
that was everything and all that. And I even talked about it in the dialogue because he's talking back and forth to the dude on the phone. He's like, hey, you ever watch cartoons and they use all those symbols for like curse word things? Like, what the? And they show it. What are you talking about, man? and kind of playing around with it, you know, and everything. I mean, it's just basically about this asshole getting saddled with the weirdest kid in the world and winds up having to go on this crazy adventure and everything. And that's still there, and I still kind of want to work on it, but as far as scope, it was one of those grand books that would probably take about 8 issues to finish. Whereas Scrape here is like 3 acts in a solid like Pixar movie on acid, I guess. You know, I mean,
Okay.
And everything, but like in the 3rd act, it's like it all kind of gets wrapped up, and it's like I'm not really. I see it as a series, but you know, I don't want to do it as like a full-on monthly thing. You know, I want to do like 3 issues and call that the original book, and then if I bring them back later, I want to kind of, I don't know, like Scrape could be like some other menial job, you know, on some other part of the galaxy. Like, you know, he's Uber Scrape. He's like got a spaceship and doing, like, you know, I'm picking up like, you know, the worst customers in the world and stuff, right?
So is Scrape the character's name, or is that like just the name of the book?
His name is Scrape.
Okay.
And everything. As a dishwasher, I was like, Scrape, because you know, I'm scraping the pans and scrubbing and everything. I've seen my fair share of dish, so you know, yeah.
Is he a singular name character like Cher?
Yeah,
he has a last name, but it's not something I'm gonna like, you know, like have to tell anybody about right now. It's maybe one of those things later on, you know, kind of like everything, but nobody really knows it, you know. There's a shot in the book where they show it's like it's on the computer screen in one of the police squad cars, and the name is cut off and it's MAS something, but I don't show the whole thing.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
like,
You tease it. I got you.
Yeah.
So, obviously, this is the first time that I'm talking to you, Mr. Raymond. How many comic books would you say you've produced in total? I'm unfamiliar with your back catalog.
I have done a ton of like strips. I started out like working doing shadow art like for syndicated cartoonists in Little Rock, doing stuff, and I did a lot of shadow art. I did a lot of drawing. Like, so he'd send me home with a stack of like one panel like Far Side strips. He did a strip called Strange Brew, and I would do those up and that kind of stuff. I've done books, but I haven't done anything that it's out there. I've done a few Kickstarters. The window thing kind of took off for a minute and everything, but then I made the mistake of losing my momentum of doing it. And I had a friend in San Antonio who was like, we got to make a pilot out of this. So that became a thing, and it just became a nightmare where it burned out. I just got burned out on it, you know, and everything. By the time I finally got geared up to do like the follow up to the window was going to try to go back at it. My dad passed away, so
Oh no.
it's like my old man passed away. It was just like I was like a little kid lost in front of the television, like watching cartoons, and that kind of where the window cartoon special came from. And I did that, and I was kind of like, this is good. I kind of want to put it down for right now, and kind of and I play around. I get hired to do like work for hire for 8 pages here and there.
Okay.
People want to put the book and everything, and a lot of it was a nightmare to try to do, but it was still work. So I kept doing it. I worked for a guy named Ramon Gill in New York City who does a lot of books and stuff. That was really fun. I've done Crime in Space. I did an anthology that became a book on comicsology, which has a bunch of my like earlier stuff.
Okay.
I've done a ton of writing, but as far as books go, I've got like maybe the 2 window books and like anthologies of short stories. I've got 2 Omnibus Sofa books. I called it an Omnibus Sofa, and it was just cartoon shorts, just comic shorts. Yeah.
Okay. So primarily shorts and freelance work, so to speak, or work for hire stuff. Yeah.
Definitely freelance, but as far as like see any kind of like my stuff being published by any of the major Dark Horse or anyone, not yet, but
Okay.
hey,
That's fine.
All in due time.
yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
everything. The thing about that is that I really don't see myself as a monthly book guy. I would love to just do like one series a year, and it maybe be 4 or 5 issues, or just one graphic novel a year. You got guys like Doug Naple, who does like one graphic novel a year, and they put it out, and he puts out a book, and that I'd love to just do that. But as far as keeping with a monthly schedule and getting hired, I really don't know if I could. I don't know if I could stick to it, that rigidness to the, and everything and all that.
Right.
But who knows? If somebody was to hire me to do it, I wouldn't turn it down. I'll tell you that much. I shouldn't turn it down. But I'm just saying, it's not something I'm actively pursuing or like the end game to any of it. But yeah.
Gotcha. So with Scrape being both your art and writing, and like you said, you have it kind of set up as thumbnails. You have like a loose sort of roadmap for your story and stuff. So when it comes, so do you have like a finished page and you like show it to Greg, or are you just like calling him up at like 3 a.m. going, hey, I think I'm gonna do this, and like, is this a good idea, or are you like, no, I'm doing this, fuck you?
Yeah, that kind of happens too. I get the idea. I get the scene in my head, and the scene will be so strong that I need to scribble out and block it and kind of get the sequentials down, and the pacing is everything and all that. And I get that in my head, and I get it. And since I'm lettering the book too, it's like I've got loose dialogue, but the dialogue sometimes kind of happens spot on, because it'll be a moment of like I'm literally typing stuff out, and there's been moments where it's like him saying something here, like one of my favorite lines from the book is he was describing the drug he had, the weed, the hyperdank. And he's like, and this line just kind of came out of me as I was typing it. He's like, scientists say it's like, Stevie Nicks humping the cast of Star Trek until they had the magic love date. I mean, like, I got done typing it and I cackled a little, and I was like, yeah, there he is,
Yeah,
like,
I feel like
had to have
no, sorry, go ahead.
holding the weed up to him and going and trying to explain to him like how like mythical this weed is and everything. Sure. And Elliot winds up taking it. He just gulps down like a whole huge chunk of it, and that's where the fun really starts. So I can't wait to really get into like a lot of the story, man. There's just things that are going to happen that are going to be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have any questions for C, Nate? See you leaning further into the microphone.
Oh no, I'm getting comfortable here. So I managed to go through the Raygun Twitter account there and look at a lot of your the past art, and I guess little sneak peeks from what's coming up with Scrape here. And yeah, no, like I'm real impressed with the art style. It's got those thick blacks in it, and it's it's very visceral. Have you always drawn in that style, or do you really mix it up?
Man, when it comes down to it, I mean, a lot of people are doing digital now with that, and everybody's saying that's what I need to do. But I've got all my muscle memory and everything that, like, doing the line art itself by hand. I'll do the colors, but I still scan the line art, man, because I want to feel the bend of a brush, underneath my,
right.
And getting a particular line weight and feeling the ink, go down and everything, because I love the ink and everything. And like I said, I draw I pencil really loose and kind of, but sometimes it's really tight and everything, and it's just a matter of starting to, like, sometimes it's like I already know where the ink's going to go. I just need to mark it with a pencil.
Right. Give yourself a little bit of a guide, right?
Yeah, that's the cartooning itself, the creating the art. That's me. That's that part. That's been me since I was a kid. Like being able to sit and do that. So it's like that's the one part that's mine. So I kind of as far as the colors go and how it's gonna and everything, I'm open to that. But I'll sit down and get the inking, and it's like I still want to do it in this fashion. But yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I like that it has some sort of texture to it. It feels good to look at.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I draw a lot of inspiration from a lot of the really, I wouldn't call them messy, but they literally like can take ink and do Paul Pope. I really love Paul Pope. I love Jeff Lemire, who did Sweet Tooth stuff, man. And you've watched it evolve, and it was this, and it became like I want that sequential feel more than anything. I want to be able to experiment with the motion, the kinetic stuff. Daniel Warren Johnson, Murder Falcon. Oh my God, I read that and I was just like, yeah, this is how I want to do it. I want giants, splashing sound effects, becoming literally an organic part of the action, that kind of thing. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, scrolling through your Twitter as well on the art that you have posted there. Your art style reminds me of like Jeff Smith from Bone, if it was messy and mixed with I'm blanking on who did the art for the comic series DMZ. You know that one? And it's got a really kind of like, it's got that kind of grit that seems kind of in your vein. I can't remember the artist off the top of my head, and it's weird because I know they just did like a mini series on HBO. But kind of like a blend between those two.
I'm big on Jeff Stokely, who did Six Gun Gorilla for Boom a few years ago too, and that's really good stuff. You'll find me picking it up and kind of picking up books on because of particular writers or a particular vein of cartooning that I've got. It's like I've got this taste about it. I don't necessarily say if it's good taste or not, but it's still kind of like it's what I look for when I'm like seeing books, and I can pick it up and like see a couple of pages and I can see a kinetic scene happening without even reading the dialogue. I'm like, yeah, they put enough time to craft something. This is cool, and everything. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm digging what you have on there. Obviously there's not a ton on there, but it looks good to me. So when Greg was like, "Hey, I need to get a guy on your show," and then I was like, "Is this another Kickstarter?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Okay, how are you gonna sell it to me?" And he's like, "Sci-fi." And I was like, "All right, sold."
There you go. Everybody's wanting me to pitch stuff, and I'm like, they're wanting some kind of elaborate, and I'm like, it's about a dishwasher who works in space, or a space dishwasher, or if you can, the shortest, briefest, like talking about something. It's like it's got laser guns and stuff blowing up. I mean, like people get them hooked, and then when they pick it up, that's when you show them what you're doing, and that's when you see. They're going to take the time, but like trying to explain, this whole ins and outs and stuff, just keep it brief, like I guess, everything. I'm going to let Greg talk for a little while if he wants. and
Oh.
then I've got to go feed the dogs. Is that all right? I'll be
Go
back.
for it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if he wants to, Greg, just tell him all the horrible, awful things about me, and talk about whatever. I'll be back.
Okay. Well, Greg.
Yeah. Ask away.
Well, so he reached out to you, and this idea, I guess there was further communications back and forth, and eventually he said something about this Project Scrape, and like what caused you to latch onto it and be the I think when we were talking off air, be the executive producer, so to speak, to bring this to market.
That's really Phil's. Phil is the executive producer. I am more of the hype man and the wrangler and the I don't know what
I
to
feel like an executive
I
producer
kind of
would
just
do
like
wrangling, though. I'm just saying.
a little bit, I guess. So like we were talking about Hyperdank, and when he was creating that and going through the paces of that, and it looked like everything that we were talking about, it had that feel of a Tarantino flick, but on page, and it looked so great. And I was like, oh my gosh, just keep giving me pages of this because I want to read the rest of this.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you know what? I'm going to change gears. I'm done with this. I'm going to send you over some stuff later. I need to clear my headspace. And all of a sudden, like a few weeks later, I think maybe a month or so, there's like, we're still chatting and stuff like that. But this page comes across my screen, and it's Scrape, and he's like, this is what I'm working on now. And I was like, tell me about it. And so he starts talking it up, and I'm like, so this is like literally the back of house at the cantina in Star Wars. So if you've got the whole entire cantina scene going on, and all that craziness is going on in the front of everything, this is just like what's going on in the dish pit. And then you got these two guys that are like having to deal with all the random and weird stuff in a very kind of Rick and Morty sensibility ish kind of way. And I was like, dude, draw more, because like I'm liking it. So he would continue to draw, and like you said, like you asked him, would he send stuff over and ask if like what I thought about the dialogue and other stuff like that. Yeah, sometimes it would be like random hours, but and it was like getting like a Christmas package or something like that, from Cee, because like all of a sudden there would be like a page, and there would be like, oh hey, this new dialogue, like, because he would send over the page with no dialogue in it, and then it just looked like super amazing, and then all of a sudden the dialogue's there, and it's like, how does that read? And we would go back and forth, a little bit, and usually like everything, like it just like it all flowed super great. So like I was just really just like, okay, this looks really good.
I wouldn't be so sure myself. So that's why. I mean, I want to show it to other people, and there'd be times, it's like, I'd be like, something's not working, and I would show it to Greg, or I would show it to Phil, or I'd show it to Lee or James, and they'd be like, like they'd have something to say about it, and I could adjust it. And sometimes it would just be the little touches, and then sometimes it would just be my imagination. I have this bad habit of tweaking things to death. So I'm like, is this working? It's working. I leave it alone. That page is done. I stick it. It's in the portfolio. That page line is scanned. It's done. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a good process. I mean, really.
Yeah, that's
and
kind
so
of how.
Who are these other cast of characters? The Jim and the Lee, and who are these folks?
Phil is his name's Phil Haxel, and he operates out of San Diego. Old school comics, man. He's been in the game with comics for long. He owns his own marketing firm now, and advertising, and he's got his own printing press. So he wants to be helping people develop their comics. So
That's awesome.
He kind of the harder project, making it work, because he's coming on, and he's been working with me for a few years with the books. We did the window Kickstarters and everything, and he knows how to take my work and create the layers. I mean, the guy's a Photoshop like guru. The guy's like Jedi Knight. I mean, I think he just does it but I can remember on, or he knows how to take it and give me a solid page. And I was doing the pages to scrape on 9x12, which is not the standard size and everything. And I would get the scans and send them to him and say, can we print this? Because the style of the comic is going to be storybook like, or like a giant size.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's going to be magazine style. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, because it's uncommon for comic books, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Or we could do it. He could cut that down and do even a smaller digest size. When it comes down to it, that's why I did the lettering as big as it did. And everything. It's pure cartooning, man. And it's me playing around and seeing what's working. And that's another thing that's been really cool about this, is that I've had that opportunity to kind of do that and create what I'm creating, which has been really good. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and then you got Lee did the video.
Lee, yeah. And here's the thing: Lee did the video first, and we needed to put like audio to it. And I'm like, he did great. Like Greg's great with the voice characterizations. He's really cool with it and everything. And then I was like, he did that, and then after hearing that, I was like, let me write you a script. And I wrote him a script, and he came back with an audio of it, like boom, that afternoon, and like over the video we had. And I showed it to Lee. He's like, all right, how long we got until we got to get this on the page? And I'm like, man, Monday. And he's like, give me tomorrow, and I'm going to cut. And he cut the video that we have now. Okay. And it worked so well. I was like, oh my God, all this coming. I was like jumping up, and oh my God, that's freaking awesome, man. So yeah, it worked out well. So yeah.
Yeah, we so like Cee and I, like we sat down and kind of hashed out a script for the video, and I laid down a couple of different tracks and stuff like that. Let him pick what he liked, what he didn't like, and then I played around with a couple different voices for both Scrape and for Elliot, and I think like I tried really hard to do my best Michael Cera voice, but it wasn't coming across very good. So
I don't really peg you as a Michael Cera type, man.
I know. I watched like probably like 5 or 6 good hours of video in a day, just like listening to him talk.
Okay.
And just trying to get the voice down, and saying the dialogue over and over. And I felt like I had it, and then when I recorded it, I was like, I sound like myself.
And so to clarify on this video, this is like a snazzy video you guys have on the Kickstarter page. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And he does the voiceover and everything, and then like that inspired like Lee, like Alex. He so much that he was like, give me a day to do a re-edit on it, and he sent it back, and I was like, holy crap! He's like making the panels, the story happening. He's stopping, and it's like in the screech of the like, but that's not this kind of story, and it screeches out, And there was so many little things. I was like, oh my God, it's coming together. So that's what really sold me on like, let's get this going. Yeah. But
that sounds super cool. I didn't see the video before we recorded the show because I didn't know there was a video.
You missed out.
I didn't know.
So
you didn't
good.
say anything, Greg.
Oh, dude. Oh.
I'd do it now, but I'm down to one very small screen.
It's okay. You can watch it later.
Yeah, I will. For sure.
Then you'll be like, oh wow, I need to back this
it'll be linked in the show notes.
So Greg, so you've been shepherding, like how many projects do you have right now? Like, because I know you have your own stuff, but it's like it seems like every like you're helping out projects the way Travis backs Kickstarter projects. It seems.
I know there's a definite difference in I think like there's people that do do that thing over there, and then there's kind of what I do, and it's like it's two different sides of the coin, right? So you can throw money at a thing, or you can give the assistance and the assurances and other things like that, and kind of be there when things need to get done. And it's like there's a lot of stuff, like technical stuff, that like when we're putting this all together, when Cee was having issues with the computer and everything like that, just like making sure that I had all the ability to launch the Kickstarter if he needed it launched, if he wasn't able to do it, helping him do the launch videos and stuff like that, setting up all that stuff, and doing launch parties and everything else. Like it's just sometimes just making sure that you don't have so much on your plate as the person doing the actual Kickstarter, and having a project manager help you do that kind of thing, and having somebody do that.
At that, man. There's been so many like different things. I mean, just in since we launched, and even beforehand, you were making those posts and taking the time to push it and put it out there and everything. And it's like man, just the energy alone to like put the pages. Like once I get going, I've got like 8 pages of line art I've got to finish, and once I really get going, I get possessed. Like time in a few days, like
I mean, that's awesome.
Everything. So I'm able to do that and then not have to divide my man, because I know that like Greg has been out there pushing the hell out of it. That man, thank you. That's big time help.
I mean, his job right now is to make sure that the book is ready to go as soon as the Kickstarter ends, so that everything is done. And when people finish, when this thing finishes.
You guys can hear this, right? Like, there's like fucking racing happening in my fucking neighborhood, right?
Oh man, that's wild. Are you in my neighborhood?
I know we live I know we live reasonably close to each other, but I don't think we live that close to each other. Greg.
No, I don't think so. You want to know how many projects? So at count in the last month, I think I've kind of helped out with about 3 Kickstarters. So there was Battle Grapple, which Mike and Don Wynn, so Mike Tanner, Don Wynn, and Dave Wheeler were doing with Travis, and just things kind of got a little wonky, so I kind of jumped into the seat there and did what I'm doing here with those guys, and just kind of made sure that we stayed the course. And then another friend, she really didn't need any help. Chrissy Shin is just an awesome rock star when it comes to Demonovich and everything like that. I just was there to just kind of make sure conversations were happening in her chats and other stuff like that, and keeping things moving, sharing stuff, and just making sure that content was being pushed out there with my meme generation skills. Dark meme lord over here.
Are you still doing all the stuff for the Retro Emporium Twitter as well?
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay.
So and then I
don't understand how you have time to do all this shit.
I do that, but I do the other projects, which I stepped away and worked on some stuff with Mike today for other stuff, and then and then Starlite and with Travis, and it's just a busy guy.
You don't like sleeping, do you?
No, not so much. I honestly, insomnia kicks in, and then 2:00 in the morning comes around. I'm like, oh shoot, I got to get up and launch Kickstarter with Seed tomorrow. So I better get some sleep, because it is 3:00 in the morning.
You still have your secret NDA day job, correct?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I don't even understand how you.
So
I know you have a slave intern. We've had him on the show. Yeah.
No, he's. I gave him. You
let him loose.
Let him loose. He's doing his own thing, but again, he's still part of the team and stuff like that. But he's doing his own stuff. So yeah. So he's off doing his own thing.
How do you do all this? I don't understand how you manage. I don't know. How do you time manage it? I don't understand.
Google Calendar on my phone tells me what to do and where to be. Oh, and then the 3 podcasts. So I don't know.
Yeah, and you do all the other podcasts, and you have books of your own, and you
Yeah.
help your wife, and you're helping
Yeah.
C, and you're helping. I don't understand.
And I'm taking my grandma shopping tomorrow.
Yeah, and you're doing that.
I want to see this Google Calendar because I swear there's probably 36 hours per day on yours.
Oh yeah, it is. It's extended, and then my work schedule for my my other job is like just redonk. So it's like I don't know how that. And then there's another back burner project that's in the works, or two. I don't know.
Greg, everyone in this dimension operates on a 24-hour day. I'm sorry.
When you said 36 hours, my mind immediately jumped to the line in the first Men in Black where they're like, "We're on Centauri time. It's a 48-hour workday."
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Steve and I were both like the same thing at the same time because tell him.
I just stare in here. Just just stare into this. It's
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. I keep forgetting we're not like video. It's just gonna be audio.
It's all good. It's entertaining.
Entertaining. No, my wife got on me about time management stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and you have a wife.
Yeah, she was saying
who I
that
assume
like
you talked to at some point.
Yeah. No, we were talking last night about stuff, and she said that she was really happy that I have curtailed all my things that I do down to things that I really find a passion for, I believe in, and that I thoroughly enjoy. So if I didn't have a strong feeling for what Cee's doing, what Scrape the book is, and what he's been working towards, then I wouldn't be doing this, for one. Sure. And and for two, it's like, I mean, when it comes to friends doing stuff like this, I really want to be supportive, and I like over the last the crazy part about the pandemic, man, is like you sit there, you're stuck in the house, and you're just sitting there with your computer, your phone, or whatever, and you're just chatting with people, and you get you make a friend. Oh no, he disappeared. He ran away. I got all sentimental on him, and he took off on me. Yeah. So you
okay, we're still rolling. Keep going.
Yeah. So you make these friends that are like living on the other side of the country, and they start doing stuff, and you just want to support them, So that's just how it is.
Wow. I mean, that's so Boy Scouty altruistic of you.
Right? It's the Eagle Scout in me.
It's absolutely insane.
Gosh, it is absolutely insane. Like,
I'm crazy. I know. And when I don't take my medication, I tend to go off the rails more. So, or when I take too much of it, I tend to go on the rail more. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Well,
it's all a vapor trail.
You're clearly just like a high functioning, maybe high producing, high doing person.
He's calling you high all the time.
No, that's the other guy, Travis. You can listen to the podcast on that one for sure.
Yeah, that's Travis,
and he won't even deny it.
That's I mean, in all honesty, like I think that's why he and I work well together, because like we do balance each other out sometimes. Like I rein him in sometimes.
Yeah, it's interesting as our show keeps getting like all of these comic book Kickstarters, and like you were like the first point of contact for like all this comic book stuff being on our show, or at least comic book creators, and it's like when I first met you, I was like, this dude is clearly doing a lot, and it's very highly caffeinated. And then as I meet like the other cast of people, like when we had, it's like, and then there was Michael, and I was like, oh my God, Michael's like the same kind of dude, and, and clearly,
like me,
C is the same kind of dude. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. So I guess the whole comic book industry is just highly caffeinated.
Yes,
right.
We're all a little off our nut a bit.
They're on adrenaline
and very much so.
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear us, C?
I hear the dogs.
Those are those are not his dogs.
You got dogs? I love dogs.
Well, we're gonna keep going. Somebody feel free to type in the chat for C. While he's having technical difficulties.
He's just got to hit that join call button.
So other than passion for your friends' projects and stuff, does it give you like are you getting like a gratification high from like helping others achieve like these comic book goals that like may be a little difficult for them to parse their way to the finish line, Greg?
I think, yeah, I mean, like, who doesn't want to see people succeed, right? Who doesn't want to get that? Who doesn't want to feel the same kind of success with them? You know, yeah. No, I live for it. I don't know. Some people run marathons. Some people like to drive fast. Some people like to jump out of perfectly good airplanes. Sometimes with a parachute, sometimes without. I don't know.
I mean, I guess I can't complain about you too much. This guy down here had an entire conversation with himself over his various Twitter accounts. It's probably
me?
one of them. Yes, you.
Yeah. Okay. Greg's aware. It's fine. Greg.
Yes.
Greg's the only one who's competing with me for the number of Twitter accounts that is being run.
I'm fortunate enough here to meet the personalities behind the projects, and I'm along for the ride, and I enjoy the heck out of it.
That's always good, though, that you can see the all the behind the scenes wildness and then appreciate it as well.
Well, what's interesting to me, because we had the Battle Grapple people on, and I met your cohort Michael Tanner for the first time, who was lovely, and I actually, although I didn't get to finish it this week because this week honestly sucked ass for me, but I was actually going back and I was reading the first Junior Braves, and in my head I was like, okay, I know Greg pretty well. I feel like I know Michael now. I was like, who is who in each scene? Who's writing what line? Are they different characters? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. It was quite interesting.
That's my grandma and I were actually having that conversation, not about us, about Mike and I and the way that we write, but just like Mike and I have known each other, like, I want to say we
said
met.
You guys were like together in like writing college or whatever, and then you guys were doing like the Hollywood pitching circuit, which is interesting when he brought it up, because I was like, oh, I literally remember when Greg was talking about that specific thing on like whatever appearance 3 that you've had on this show.
Appearance 3.
Yeah, I don't know. And I was like, oh yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, he told you about that. What did he tell you? Like, I don't know if you listened to that episode or not, but it was a good episode.
I did not.
I thought it was.
I'll have to go listen to it.
Stellar, honestly, and it was fantastic that we had Nate on finally with the guests, because generally Nate doesn't join on the guests because time, which is why we're doing it on a Friday at 9:30 at night.
Right.
Which
he gets these guests on. He's like, "Are you available a Wednesday 1 p.m.?" No.
It's true. I do usually drop it on you with very little notice, unfortunately. But it was important on the Battle Grapple one because I was like, I don't fucking know a goddamn thing about wrestling. Nate, you watch wrestling, right? And it just happened to be the perfect thing. And it was funny because when I was editing it, like I remember you saying stuff and I was just kind of nodding my head. And then in editing that podcast for Battle Grapple, I was like, oh, wait a minute. He's making a wrestling reference here. And I just have no fucking idea. You made a mini that episode, by the way.
Of course.
Don't think I didn't Google them, because I did.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
I'm gonna go watch it now. I'm gonna go listen to it.
It's actually a really good show. Honestly, I thought it was a really good, and Dawn was fantastic to talk to too. So are we getting C back, or what's happening?
He's messaging.
Do we need C back? Like, has he said his piece? Is he what's occurring?
His phone is being wonky. I can run through the Kickstarter stuff, the rest of the Kickstarter stuff right now if you want. Like, just like that way, if people that are listening want to know what we got going on with this,
probably a good idea.
Yeah,
we're at that sweet spot of 55 minutes. So
Yeah, let me hit all the reward tiers real fast. So there's a bunch of different ones when we were talking about the different stuff. Because it's set in a space Denny's, if you will, or a space Waffle House,
Yeah.
or the back of house in the cantina. Zerks, he brought up, is the restaurant that they work at.
Okay.
So everything in all the tiers are named after Zerks, the namesake of the restaurant. So he's trying to get back on, he says. So it's basically like you got you can tip the wait staff for $1 or more. There's Nebula mints. Like if you remember going to an old truck stop diner or whatever, they always had mints that you could pick up at the counter. So that's $5, and it gets you the digital copy, 40-page issue 1 of Scrape.
Oh, it's a 40-page issue 1.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty huge.
Battle Grapple and Starlite to shame for issue 1.
Yeah, it does. It really. And this is one dude doing it.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
That's why I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to make this book, because this is like, I work on teams.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're not producing like this.
Sure.
And you're one dude, and you're hammering this out in like 2 months. Well, and he says he can't do like a monthly book. Whatever.
Well, he needs someone like you to be like, bro,
do it. You could do it.
Do it.
Come on.
Just do it.
I know. I'm like, I just watched NWA, and I feel like not NWA. I watched Straight Outta Compton, and I feel like their manager. Come on, you got this, guys. Just I'm here for you. But not in that.
Sometimes
I'm getting nothing out of
not
this.
In the scummy way, right? Yes.
I get nothing out of this except for the pure joy of seeing a friend succeed and doing something he loves. Yep. And in all honesty, like if people listening to this or checking out the Kickstarter want to like send it off to Netflix or any streaming service out
maybe
there,
not Netflix
Hulu,
anymore. That doesn't seem like a good place to go anymore.
but any place that wants to like turn it into an actual cartoon, like, dude, please do, because this actually has the potential, it has the legs to be that.
Right.
So the next thing up, you got like for $10, like you get the Zerk Supreme, you get the digital copy, get an autographed copy of the actual print book, and then a 20-page short Crime in Space Fool's Briefcase, which is his previous released book that was on previously on Comixology before that kind of like disappeared or whatever. So the book itself, you can go and grab that with this for $10, which is that's a steal. And then like for $20, the Appetizer Supreme Being gets you basically all those things plus a VHS schlock print. It's 11x17. So he did up like a whole entire. Remember going to the video store and seeing those old movie posters and stuff like that for all those like Robot Jocks or something. Yeah, it's that kind of movie poster that he did, and it just looks so good. And I'm like, dude, this is great. So you get that in there for that's like $20, and that's like most prints are like $20. So I mean, I go to enough conventions, I know that's you're getting a lot for that. For $30, you're getting all of those things plus he's got a Saturday morning print that he's throwing in there. So it is if this was a cartoon, this is what the Saturday morning cartoon image would be that would come up for the commercial and stuff like that. So so he did up another print for that, and it's a really fun piece. And then jumping up to 45 is the ultimate Supreme Being Appetizer Plate, which gets you all those things plus some sweet stickers, because everyone loves stickers. But wait, there's something else that you're getting for $30 or $45, because you're getting a 3x3 headshot that he's done up. So it's like an illustration that he's drawn up and everything. And
I think he was showing those earlier.
Yeah. So you're getting that, and then like for $50, the Super Deluxe, that one you're getting like you're getting the stickers, you're getting the headshots, you're getting, I'm trying to look at all the different stuff on here. He's got something else in here. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, I lost it. It's like basically all those things plus something else. I'm reading through his crazy thing of stuff. It's the one that seems like to get the most people because it's got so much stuff in it. And then jumping straight up like to $175 is the Supreme Buffet, which is like you're getting like you get like a actual sheet from the like a page of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like if people go to conventions and they're buying like original art from people, like that's like the price of the art usually, you know. Like I've bought art from people that's like $175 or more. So you're getting everything plus that, and then for like $200, he'll do you a one-off. Like you tell him what you want him to draw, and he draws it for you, plus a behind-the-scenes booklet, 8-page, like all the back stuff that the making of Scrapes. So it's like
that's a dang good deal for a commission.
Yeah, right. Like I mean, you're getting like a really nice commission piece plus all the other things and this whole entire back catalog of all his books. So it's like it's that he's putting out there.
That's pretty awesome, honestly. Like that's even just from like a value perspective, because like I think I've one of your guys' Kickstarters for Starlite, like that was one thing that took me aback was like yes, there's a ton of process for like a singular issue, but then also like from someone who didn't know anything about that side of the business, it was like, well, it kind of seems kind of stiff, homie.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
So with him coming out swinging, like that's just like Jesus, like, you know.
Well, I think the other thing too is like he's able to put the value in there for those like the illustrations and those pieces that he's drawing up, because you can you're getting everything that Phil is doing on the back end for producing the books and getting them done at such a low cost to make sure that C is getting, like, he's getting paid, you're getting a really good product for what you're paying for, and all of us we're just there for the support.
So a question about that you may or may not be able to answer. So I've observed that through the other Kickstarters that we've had on this show, it seems like everyone has like a different printing house. Like Starlite uses something in Oregon. The Battle Grapple guys have like a different printing place, and it seems like C has this place in where did he say it was? San Diego?
San Diego.
In San Diego, like a dude who owns the company or whatever. So like how difficult is that on the production side of the thing? Because something Battle Grapple mentioned was like a huge paper shortage occurring that's affecting the comic book industry that I had no friggin' idea about. So what goes into finding a printer, I guess?
So that, like, in the before times, it was easy to go find a printer that you could go, all right, cool, what's your lead time for to print this book? Right. And they're going to give you a quote that's like, all right, it's going to take us 6 weeks to get it to you. We can print it here stateside and it'll be this cost at 6 weeks, or we can print it faster by a few more weeks, but it's going to have to come from China or wherever. If that, there was a couple of different places that would offer an option like that. The thing with where we are right now is you got shipping, you got a paper shortage, and that's also due to shipping and the production of paper. Not that we're short on paper itself, it's just that the processing of things and everything is slowed down because they're not able to have enough staff to work in those facilities due to COVID and the resurgence of things like that. So it's like one of those things where it's like everything has, the wind blows on a leaf over here, and it, you
Right.
know, that effect,
Butterfly
right?
effect.
Yeah,
Yep.
the butterfly effect. So it's like we're constantly, you know, fighting that struggle. But with what he set up with Phil, Phil already has all this on hand, and it's not
Right.
like he's not printing a bazillion copies of books for everybody. He just already had a stock of this, and
Right.
he set it aside for C for the books that C was going to make. So he already told C, all right, this is what we can do.
That's a pretty sweet
And
deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Sure. So okay,
so
that's cool.
yeah, so it works out in that sense. But yeah, no, I've seen it across the board for other people's projects, and that's like one of the things for anybody that's going to Kickstarters right now and looking at Kickstarters that people are running. It's the two biggest things that are when it comes down to like your challenges are shipping and paper and
Sure.
printing. And those are the two things that people are taking a giant hit on because the shipping delays and shipping costs have gone up because of all those different things for all those things. So yeah, you know, it's just that's just how business works.
Yeah, and in completely unrelated businesses, we're dealing with the same thing. I'm sure Tim is having issues getting some of his parts in.
I have
Mhm.
the worst issues getting my parts in. I have 19 jobs
So-
backed up, and I can't fulfill them.
Yep.
Because I don't have product. And
Mhm. Mhm.
they were looking at 6-week lead times 6 weeks ago, and the stuff hasn't shipped
Mhm.
yet. So
Right. I would love for any of the
Fun
jobs that I
times.
work on right now to have lead times calculated in weeks.
Man,
Well, just because they're calculated doesn't mean that's when it's shipping.
Right.
yeah.
That's what I feel.
I see that at the shop too, like on stuff that we order for the store. It's like, oh, hey, when's this candy gonna get here? They don't know.
Right.
So,
Sitting out in the port in Long Beach right now.
yeah. Oh, we had ordered some stuff for a holiday last year.
Yeah.
Like, mind you, 2021.
Mhm.
It showed up 2 months ago. Wrong holiday. And my wife is like, what are we gonna do with this? Like, I mean, like nobody wants this stuff now.
Happy Easterween.
Yes, exactly. It's like just put it back. We'll put it in the overstock until next year. Years.
Right.
It's still still relevant.
Yeah, if it doesn't have a date on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so it is.
So it
That's
goes.
life.
Yeah.
You can't control how life is sometimes. It's just what it is.
Indeed.
But yeah, no, there's some definite value in those Kickstarter tiers. I'm excited, and C is an absolute madman. Just spending the last hour with him, he's absolutely cracked, and it would not surprise me if he could get all of these things done, lickety split as soon as the Kickstarter fulfills.
Oh yeah, no, it's been like I said, like you said, he's an absolute madman working at it, and like just I joked it's like taming a lion sometimes or a tiger, but it is just like, okay, what are you doing now? Okay, he wants to know when's the podcast? It's like, all right. We got this one tonight because he's hot on the trail of the Kickstarter.
Well, he said like, it started this morning, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's like he's trying to divide his time up between when he can draw for stuff and when he's got to pay attention to the Kickstarter, when he's got to do this podcast, and it's just keeping the rhythm and the balance and stuff. Sure. I told him to take a nap earlier. I said, take a nap.
Well, and as I'm sure you know, because you've done so many Kickstarters now, Kickstarter takes a totally different type of energy and focus and stuff that's totally separate from the product.
Yeah.
It's like a totally different field.
I didn't want to say it. Well, since he's not on the phone, since he's not on the phone, since he's not on the line with us, we're at 21 backers, $556 of the $2,000 goal. And let me hit kick track right now and see where we are.
A quarter of the way there.
Yeah, we are We are at 26%. So by their thing. So only being in the first day, that's pretty good. I know a lot of people try to gun for hitting that like 100% in the first 24 hours. We're still not we're not 24 hours in yet, so we're only halfway. And I think that's a pretty good place to be. And, you know, like for someone who the following is, you know, what we're making as we go.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the other thing too is that he had these previous Kickstarters, but with his computer being down and other stuff and trying to do everything off his phone, he couldn't log into his old Kickstarters to get, because it wasn't under the same name. He started a new one for straight. So he couldn't get into those old ones to bring all the old people across. So we lost a good jump on that audience.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty happy. I'm glad to see that we got this. Like, I mean, there's the two things I told him. You want to have 100% backing and 100 backers. So we're at 21 backers, and we're, you know, at
26%.
over 20. Yeah. So
that's a great start. You know,
these are good metrics, as they would say.
Yeah. It's kind of a bummer that his phone had a conniption, because like I was gonna ask some more insider baseball-y questions to him.
Ask a
know,
question. I might have an
answer. I was gonna ask, like, because something that I heard from the other artists that we've had on the show, specifically the the drawing artists, not just the writer artists. You know, they really like the digital medium, and he was talking about like, oh, everybody should have me do digital, but like I do like ink and pencil, like that's my jam. And I was just thinking, like, that's awesome. And obviously he said he scans his stuff, but it was like in the back of my head I was like, man, how often you got to go for like ink supplies and like pens and pencils and paper and stuff, because you got to have that stuff. Like, it's not infinite like it's digital.
It's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. I would say he's probably into his supplies a good amount, because you know, you're drawing a lot, but then also when you're drawing on a smaller board like he is now for this book, it's a lot less space that he's trying to fill up, because he's not filling up the traditional space that one would do on a larger size Bristol. So he's using a smaller one. So he's not using as much of those resources.
I don't know what a Bristol means.
So that's the paper, the special paper that you use to draw on.
It's kind of parchment-y.
Okay, so Nate, but like, I apparently don't know. Okay, gotcha.
Don't ever call it construction paper.
No.
Well,
it looks like it, feels like it. Yeah,
that's my.
You construct things with it.
Graph paper and fuck it.
The other thing too is he does a lot of blue lines, so he'll scribble out everything in the blue lines before he gets to ink. So he already, like, he's, you know, I mean, like that's very traditional. It's very much the way that you know, comic book artist or you know,
classic
someone
comic
that draws
book animation with the blue lines, and then you fill and you reduce.
So
my brother's transitioned to full digital, and he's still blue lines.
You have to. You got to have that line to follow and to do everything with. You know, I've watched enough people draw, both on physical media and on digital, and it's like, it blows my mind how they do the thing and they make it work. I can't do it. I suck.
I can't do it either.
My art is terrible.
My art is very bad.
I will say, like, Zach for Junior Braves does everything traditional as well, so it's
really
yeah. So he has jumped up to a Cintiq to do some stuff to speed up the process for his, like, when he does his line work and stuff like that. So he'll scan, and after he does all the I should say, when he inks, like he'll ink digitally. But he does all the line work is all done traditionally, and then he'll jump it up. So
he'll get there eventually. Yeah. It's literally like there's a feel and a texture to it that you can't replicate in a digital medium. You know, the friction of the paper, when you're used to that, you have to have that, and just slide along glass. But once you start doing inkings and colorings, it's like, all right, bucket drop. Right, the airbrushing, all
Just
that
boom.
kind of stuff. It's a lot easier on digital.
Yeah, I mean, like I've colored I colored a book. I a friend of mine let me color her book while we were in the airport, a couple pages, because we were waiting for our plane to connect from we're flying from Chicago from C2E2 to Emerald City a few years back. So she's like, "Oh, do you want to color some pages while I take some phone calls?" And I was like, "You trust me?" She's like, "Yeah, sure. You can color, right? You can stay in the lines." And I was like, "Okay." So there's a book out there. My friend Jenna Ayub did Forever Home, and I did a don't tell. No, I put a little bit of gray here and a little bit of yellow here
Fair enough.
because that's not that's where the I didn't feel. I was like, I'm not, I don't trust myself. Like,
Right.
I'm gonna mess this up, and then you're gonna have to go through and fix it. So, but it was neat to do it on. It was on a like a Cintiq, so I was like, oh, this is cool. I've never really used one before. So, and then I was like, okay, the excitement is over. I am still a terrible art person. Give me the crayons.
Art is definitely one of those things that I am not capable of doing. I remember a lot of the learn to draw Spider-Man books and stuff when I was a kid, and like he's doing the pose, which nobody can see on camera right now, but he's like doing like the thing at the angle, and they're like, and you do the circle, and then you draw the neck, and then you do the blue lines, and then you do the black lines, and it like still looked like Pudgy Man by the time I was done with it.
Perspective and hands are probably the two hardest things I hear from consistently from artists.
Yeah.
Hands being the worst. Yeah, feet are there too. Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Oh.
So yeah, it's real bummer. Cee's not here.
I know, he disappeared.
I have other questions, but like there wouldn't be,
Yeah, he's gone.
That's okay. Well, we'll do a thing, and we'll attempt to do the best with what we got. We knew going in.
Hey, when this thing hits 100, we can do a follow-up.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna say, if you had another question you think I might be able to field.
I don't know. I mean, my questions were more like, like some of his like other inspirations and stuff specifically for the world. Like he mentioned stuff like, Archer's and Bob's Burgers and the Cantina thing, and some of the other artwork stuff that he felt his stuff was similar to. It was interesting hearing his reaction that like a slightly messier like Jeff Smith from Bone. He's like, oh yeah, like so that was cool because I always bring up Jeff Smith from Bone because that is a fucking ridiculously good comic.
It is.
And I'm so mad because there was going to be a friggin' adaptation on Netflix, and the Netflix fired all their animation thing, and now it's not happening. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So sad.
Ooh.
Indeed.
I know he's got a lot of other, like there's a lot of other folks out there that definitely do inspire him. Like I'm trying to think, like we've had this conversation. Sure. I'm trying to play it back in my head as to like where did you draw this from? Like this inspiration. And it's like man, like a lot of it comes from, like the cartoons that he watched as a kid. He watched a lot of cartoons, and just growing up watching any of those, anything that was playing back in the 80s and stuff like that, any of those types of cartoons, just like all those things kind of hit the feels for him, and then and a lot of like in pre-show we were talking about like, VHS and stuff like that, and he watched a lot of movies. So you mash those two things up, you got action flicks and you've got cartoons, and this is definitely an action cartoon.
Yeah, it's so poignant for me because right before the show, I was having dinner with my wife and we watched the Chippendales Rescue Ranger movie that just came out today on Disney Plus, having previously watched Rescue Rangers as a kid,
Mhm.
and this fucking movie, like, so when I saw the trailer, I was like, this looks fucking bad. I don't know what's happening here. They were really high, like when they did this, and it's weird live action plus 2D plus CGI, like
I
weird
know.
thing. But I watched
What?
it and I
Why?
was like, this movie's fucking amazing. like like the amount of cameos in this movie, like it's made for people like C. I feel.
Mhm.
Literally fucking everybody is in this movie. Like it's not just a Disney thing, like fucking Transformers, Care Bears, fucking like they have the ugly CGI Sonic the Hedgehog from the movie at like a convention and he's like all dejected with a beer gut and I was like, what the fuck is happening in this film? And
So
the
it's got like a Roger Rabbit
Roger
meets
Rabbit's in it.
Space Jam.
Roger Rabbit's in it.
Ah,
Like it is
I
like the sequel to Roger Rabbit. I'm
I
like,
got it
what
now.
is this movie? I can't believe
My
this is
wife was
made. Like, how did this get made? Like, it's
I
insane. And not only that, like, it's fucking like at the start, obviously in trailers and stuff, it's weird because like Chip is 2D animated,
Mhm.
but then Dale, he had the CGI surgery or some shit within the plot. And it's like, but they're like out of work actors from the old show from the 90s. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? And the
the
like central
CGI
conceit
surgery.
of the movie, which is wild because I see why they didn't put it in the trailers, because it's actually super fucking dark and adult as shit. But the central conceit of the movie is around stealing old out of work tunes and body horror replacing them with other cartoons to make off-brand bootleg movies in this weird tune body part trafficking movie. I'm like, what the fuck is this film? It's
Wow.
insane, but it's like good. Like I finished the film and like me and my wife were just like, how how did this
How?
pass a Disney board? Like what the fuck is this film?
It's the
Like
new Disney, man.
it's insane.
They're letting things just happen.
Like there's like a whole like and it's so self-referential and like parody like it's like fucking like they had a thing where they went to the uncanny valley back street and it's where all the 2000s CGI that has like bad stuff and like
Oh,
they're all like rendered as shittily as they are and they're like that guy's eyes, is he looking at me right now? And the guy's like, yes, I'm looking directly at you. And they're like, like, and it's just like,
oh my
what
god.
is happening? They have fucking claymation people, they have fucking Muppets, they have everything in this film. It's
Oh,
insane. I've never seen anything like it. It's just whoa.
I gotta check it
But it's
out.
interesting because you bring up like the 80s and obviously he was inspired by all this stuff and it's like this was like made by someone like him. I feel
Mhm.
like it has everything in it. Like it's a Disney movie, but they have like a Batman versus ET fucking thing in the film and it's like what is happening? Like literally anything like it is like it's like the like you said earlier, like it's like the Space Jam Ready Player One free guy of cartoons, but not just
Oh
cartoons,
man.
like anything from the 90s and like 80s. It's insane. Like I was just
Sounds
like
rad.
I was like, what? I don't understand how this got made. Like I don't understand how people worked on this because there's like one human in the whole film. It's like, what the hell's happening? But I digress, and I went off on a huge tangent because I would
I
have
love
said
it
it
though.
on regular fork.
You
Hey,
never.
ow, under
Tim
the
on a
bus as
tangent.
usual. Greg knows. Greg knows my tangents. That's fine.
I've I've seen you in real life where you tangent all the time. Tim
I've
likes
seen you in real
to
life, and you
tangent all the
tangent
time.
way more than you do right now.
I know. I'm woosah.
You are very
Woosah.
woosah tonight, I must admit.
I'm keeping it in. You know, I'm reined in today.
I see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not off the rails.
Well, it's
I'm,
okay. I've,
I'm
like I was saying, it seemed like you were the most on rails of all the comic book people we've met thus far.
Well, you know, so and that's the funny thing is everybody thinks that I'm the most wild.
Well, but I mean, you kind of throw that out there like to start, and I think,
Mhm.
you know, uh, it came up between me and Nate actually last summer because me and Nate's in California,
Yeah.
and me and Nate met for the first time last summer, and I remember after the fact, and we'd had dinner and some drinks and stuff, and like the show we did after, back in our respective states, I was like, so like, what was the opinion? And you're like, you're exactly as you are.
Right.
And I was
You
like,
came as advertised.
okay.
We hadn't done video podcasts at that point. We
That's
maybe,
true.
I think, did a couple of Discord video calls at some point in time, but it was really
You called me drunk
like,
several times
yeah, I do
in the
that.
backyard, like, yo.
Hey, you don't ever offer to be
I
like,
answered, so
I'll be there
you know,
anytime you need to call. Let me know. And yeah, I'm gonna voice call you at 3:00 in the morning, faced. But yeah, we'd never really done a podcast face to face. His computer just couldn't hack it.
it's
So
true. I did have very poor
the
equipment.
first time sitting down and like having a long form conversation was when I went up there for PAX. And it's exactly as advertised, and I think the same, right?
Yeah, except you were shorter than I expected.
Yeah,
That was the only thing that threw me.
it's the camera angle.
I was like, I didn't expect a short guy. That was the only thing that caught me off guard because I'm just like a totally normal, average ass height human.
Same, yeah.
And generally, almost everybody I know is taller than me, except for my wife.
Would I be taller than the both of you?
Probably.
So it's been a hot minute since I've seen you in person due to the pandemic. I can't remember. Are you tall?
I'm like 7 foot tall, dude.
See, now I can't tell if you're messing with me. Like, there's a little tiny bit of a smirk. I'm just like, is he though? And then like my brain starts thinking,
I'm
like,
going off the height of a standard office chair here, and you and I are about the same height, and my chair would say, yes, that's about right. And unless he's got,
I don't know how to
unless he
measure
chins
through a
down on the
camera.
office chair, I see it just barely behind his shoulder. So
Yeah,
I would guess that you're pretty tall.
He's okay. He's very tall. Makes sense. That's fine.
No, I'm just joking. I'm like I was taller, and then when I hurt my back, I
Right.
shrunk. That was like Mike said. He goes, when I met you in college, you were like tall, and you shrunk. And I'm like, well, yeah. When you lose like a good 2 inches from your insides,
right? When your spine compresses,
yeah,
the thing that holds you upright, yeah.
And he's like, because it had been a while since he's seen me, and he was like, you're shorter. Yeah, I'm shorter. Yeah, because we used to be the same height.
All right, folks, let's wrap this up.
Okay. Greg, as the only remaining representative of Scrape Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Hit us with the closing remarks.
All right. Well, folks,
where can they find the Kickstarter? Obviously, they can probably Google it and punch it into search in Kickstarter. Is there a website?
You can find us on Twitter at Cee Ray's at Cee Raygun on Twitter. You can find me at That Amazing Twit, and you will, if you punch in my link tree, you'll find active Kickstarters, and it will take you right to the Kickstarter. And that is like the easiest way.
Not to be a shitty person, but the link to this Kickstarter works, right, Greg?
Yes.
I'm saying this because the one Starlite, the one that didn't go so well, I was like, wait a minute, it didn't work. And remember, I texted you guys after the show. I was like, your fucking link doesn't work, dude.
I'm gonna just say this: you're talking to who's on the podcast right here, and who is facilitating this Kickstarter? I'm just
not a Travis joint. I understand.
I'm just joking. No shame on Travis. No
It's-
shame on
it's-
Travis.
It's all
But
good.
I that was one of the things that C and I made sure everything. We ran a lot of quick tests this week on everything, making sure
Good.
everything was ready to launch. The links worked, making sure all of our everything was good to go, except for this morning. We were 2 minutes late on our little launch video, but you know, what are you gonna do? But yeah, you can find that link there, or you can go to Ominous Sofa on Facebook, just like it's
That's a
spelled,
cool name.
Ominous Sofa, and that sees his page for everything that he does in art stuff, and basically like you'll find all of the goods for the Kickstarter stuff that he's working on right now. So like any of those things that he was showing you during the podcast, you'll see all that there, and then just fun conversations and maybe some memes that I'm throwing up there with him. So we're doing that. We're doing a lot of fun chats with folks and stuff like that, and we'll be posting up some videos, more videos, doing some video discussions with folks off of the Kickstarter, off of the Facebook page. So
Sweet.
That's where you can find us. So those multiple places.
Awesome. From what I could gather on Scrape, it sounds like the $20 tier will get you a whole shitload of content, and sounds rather juicy for anyone interested in. I believe you said there was a noir comic in there as well that was 20 pages, and then also, some of his prior stuff, and a whopping 40-page debut.
Yeah,
sounds pretty good to me.
yeah. It's a pretty good tier to jump in at. Get you all the goods that will get you off and running. So do it.
Awesome. All right, Fork Fam, go back. Scrape on Kickstarter by Cee Raygun, which is spelled not like necessarily how
CEE.
Yes, Cee
Raygun.
Yes, Raygun like the pew pew.
Yes.
Pew pew.
All right, Nate. Anything else?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, cool. Well, that brings us to the end of another special episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast. Just out here kickstarting Kickstarters like nobody's business these past like 30 days. So go check out Scraped. And of course, thank you, Gregory Smith, for joining us for your 5th appearance on the show. And special thanks to C, who unfortunately
extend
not
our regards,
here
Greg.
because technical difficulties.
Thanks for having us, guys. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Always. And as always, get forked. Thank you for listening to a Dynamicworks production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
This is Dominic Armato, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamicworks production podcast.
The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival by author Tim K.A. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99. Shopping.
Do you want me to scream it out?
Oh, no, it's
There we go.
It's the end of the thing. It's just second. I gotta silence these hard drives. It's been a long time, Greg.
I know, it's been a minute.
Yeah. You know, I went to try to go to your guys' shop, and the world ended.
Yeah, it happens.
Clearly, that
The
was a
world-
mistake.
Yeah, well, they heard you wanted to come, so they ended
Yeah.
the world on you.
Yeah, that's about right.
Hold on. I gotta.
Oh, there we go. I hear some sound now.
You hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
And can you see me now? For some reason, hold on.
I've been able to see you the entire time.
We saw you in the bathroom too.
Yeah.
Oh well, hey, that's cool. That wasn't really actually me. That was a evil.
A life model decoy? Okay.
It's all working. What the hell? Oh my God! Flip around. Oh, you crazy kids and your internet cameras. Oh my God.
Our live launch this morning was this.
Oh, was it this morning? Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of us were having. I got to the shop to do the thing, and I couldn't get into the internet, so I had to come home.
Mhm.
And then
You hear me?
Cee
Everybody
was
can hear
having.
me?
Yeah.
Can you see me?
I
can
can
see
see you.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Can you see me? All right. You see
Yes.
me. All right, cool. Yeah, and you can hear me. So all right.
Yes.
I can indeed hear you.
Hearing is the most important thing.
Yes.
Is the most important thing. I got these little pieces. I don't know where the hell they came from. They're like the little backs of something. And I'm actually just going to draw like character pieces, headshots in each of them, just playing around, So
Okay.
that's kind of, if I look down, if I'm not like paying attention, it's just because I'm sitting here drawing like I am. So, yeah.
That's totally fine.
Because no one can see you except for the four of us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
We are an audio show.
They-
This is just merely for giggles.
Oh, well, hell. Yeah, well, all right, well, let's just pretend like I'm drawing then.
Tim just likes to look at people.
Yeah. One day we're gonna do video. One day. We've been steadily evolving this past year.
What do you got
Alright,
going
so
on
I'm
in the
gonna-
background, Tim?
Yeah, they'll get cut out in post. It's the fucking neighbors.
No. What do you got on
Oh.
your TV?
Just all of the things. So there's space,
Uh-huh.
and then there's grinding on RPGs, and
Okay.
then that's wait, I'm not used to, because this is inverted this way. That would
Mhm.
be Enterprise D from Next Gen.
Okay.
So yeah, and then I think there's amiibos, there's Legos, there's all kinds of shit back there. All good.
That's the saucer section that came loose and they actually crashed it on
Yep.
the planet. That was amazing to watch in the theater because it was
Blew my
something that
fucking
never
mind in the
been-
theater. I was like,
like an Enterprise, like a starship seeing the light of day and hitting the atmosphere alone was amazing, And
sure.
and J.J. Abrams just way overdid it. He's like, let's make it a submarine,
Oh.
It's submerged
I don't know.
in water.
I like all Star Trek pretty equally, so I'm not indifferent from different creators' versions of it. So I'm gonna do a check on the levels here.
Yep.
All right, cool. So little housekeeping. So once he gets in here, we'll probably do a mic check with him. You guys are good. The way we typically do it is we scream really loudly, cut in, so we have a nice big spike for editing purposes. Greg's familiar with this as he chuckles immediately. I think he's a fan of the screaming cut in.
I am.
So I would ask that you guys scream cut in along with me. We'll do a 3, 2, 1 count in is what we usually do. So it'd be 3, 2, 1.
How does it
Scream.
work? What is it? I need to scream. I can't scream. I got relatives asleep. Man.
Oh,
I can't.
Okay.
Silently scream.
Well, Greg's track is
Yes.
mixed with Cee's track. So Greg, you can do his screaming. How's that sound?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
Excellent.
good.
You can do
Is my audio okay?
Yeah, your
I'm using
audio's
a
fine.
different mic. I'm using a different mic than I usually use. So.
It sounds fine. It sounds
Okay.
fine. No longer the
Just
school
so-
mic that you stole all those years
Hey,
ago.
that thing was great. Shut your face.
It was really good. I'm shocked how good it was.
I left it at the shop for when I need to use a mic and I don't want to carry one down to the shop.
Gotcha.
Although yeah.
Gotcha. So once Nate Fu gets here, we'll do the cut-in thing. We're gonna do a little intro blurb. Would you prefer me to introduce you both, or would you like to introduce yourselves?
You know, I don't know. Maybe the less talking I do would probably be the better. So I mean, like, you
Okay.
know, I'll say hi, I'm Chris. You know, I'm currently selling Boy Scout cookies to try to get to the jamboree. I don't know, man. I really don't know how to introduce myself. I'm Chris. I draw cartoons. You know, that's about it. So I mean, if you can come up with something better than that, then yeah, you're probably yeah.
I probably can't come up with something better than that, seeing as this is my first time meeting you. But
Also, yeah, Greg, I've been following Greg's lead on this. He was like, "Hey, got a podcast Friday night. You in?" I don't even really know. I mean, what all subject matter? Like, where am I? You know, it's like I want to know. Like, I want to know what you guys like. You know, kind of tailor to, and I'd love to talk on all those topics. You know, I don't know. Is it just,
well, this block of time, you know, an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how long you guys need to talk about your stuff. You know, it's pretty much the floor is your guys to talk about your Kickstarter, talk about your inspirations. I'll probably ask comic booky and writery questions of you both, you know, project involvement, stuff like that. You know, and then as I said in the Twitter chat, you know, if you guys are having a good time, you guys are more than welcome to stay for. Basically, I'm doing 2 shows back to back. I'm doing your guys's guest spot, and then I'm doing my regular show. And then the way our show goes is we have 4 topics. They're just general topics of entertainment, gaming, life stories, and technology. And we usually spin a ring and randomly go into each topic throughout the show. But that's not necessarily, you know, you guys don't have to be there for that, as I stated in the Twitter thing. And if Nate would show up, that would be great.
not strictly this, that. It's kind of loose about like what we get to talking about, or
Yeah.
just, you know,
Yeah,
I mean,
like I said, you know,
we'll just let you guys talk, and then I'll chime in. You know, I mean,
Okay.
like, when you get me ranting about anything, I'll you know, I don't know.
Just start asking him questions. He'll answer.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
He will answer all questions.
Yeah,
Well, almost all
listen,
questions.
I'm just going to be sitting here like working on these little, I guess you call them scrape coasters. Like they're the great scrape. They're the great scrape coasters.
Okay.
You remember the Great Space Coaster? Well, this is the Great Scrape Coaster. You know,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
These character headshots. I mean, I don't even know where these came from. I'm like, they were like the cardboard backings to something, maybe a set of coasters, you know, or something. And I came across them. I was like, you know what? Those are perfect just to do like little button headshot pieces. I need to save those. And then I was
Yeah.
like, and tonight I was working
Stretch
those.
goal.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I just produce content, you know, just as much as you can put out, you know, and just let it kind of happen. So it's like all of a sudden I've got these pieces that are just kind of really working.
Cool. Come on.
Oh, send it, guy. All right, I'm sorry.
It's 9. Where the hell? I'm texting. I'm trying to figure out if he wants me to go ahead, if his kids are being butts, or what.
He said his kids were being butts, but
Yeah, but he also said he was ready to go at 8:43. So, and yet there is no name.
Where is he?
Exactly.
Is his last name actually Fu?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. What a name, right? What?
I thought it was just like a.
It sounds like a
him,
fake screen name, right?
Like
Nate. Fu.
It's Nate Fu.
Yeah.
Nate Fu.
Who's that one writer that wrote John Dies at the End that writes for Cracked? David Wong. Yeah, David Wong's got that kind of. That's a pseudonym. That's not a real name, you know. But
I mean,
yeah,
sometimes people have wacky names. It's entirely true.
Generic names like Greg Smith.
Yeah. My original name was Starscream Lasersmith, but you know, hey.
Dang.
It's a good name.
Starscream Lasersmith. Lasersmith. I just like that. You know, it just sounds like that's something I'm probably using Scrape because there's a lot of class warfare going on, the rich and the poor and all that. And Lasersmith.
I mean,
sounds like
Lasersmith sounds like you know, like the golden age of pulp science fiction novels and stuff.
Lasersmith.
Lasersmith.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back to this all during the podcast, right, guys?
Exactly.
Lasersmith. Yeah. Podcast will have a whole like sci-fi space matinee noir film. That's something else, Greg. I really got to thinking about. Scrape make a great radio serial. Like if we did narrative, holy God, man, finding all the restaurant sounds and then laser sounds and then space like monster sounds. Yeah. That would be fun to do, man.
It's
like
got a lot of potential.
See, that sounds awesome to me as someone who got halfway into producing his own fully casted and sound affected audiobook for my book, like doing a drama or a radio play. Cool shit. Like I'm all about that life.
Yeah.
Just, you know, just recording the different dialogue. You just write a scene. I mean, like, here's the great thing about Archer. You guys watch Archer?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And you don't have to watch it. It could be literally on in the background. You don't have to see what's going on. Just listen to it. And you'll wind up still laughing your ass off because it's just them going at it, you know? The animation is almost secondhand. It's almost like a, you know, it's not even needed, you know, and that's kind of cool. So
that is true. Yeah, you could sit there and I work with a dude that just like has stuff playing on his phone and he's just constantly just like, I'm like, are you watching that movie? And he's like, no, I'm just listening to it because he's like, I can't do podcasts because he can't listen to them during work because he'll answer back because he feels like he's part of the conversation, but he can listen to a movie and just kind of go with it.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I do. I used to do just post what I'd be watching or have on while I was working on particular pieces of art or pages. And you know, it was studio I had. I didn't need streaming. I didn't need a laser disc player. I didn't need like a DVD. I just needed a VHS player and just give me a stack of cassette tapes, and I would throw in like, you know, One Crazy Summer and have it playing. It's a movie I've seen 1,000 times, you know, or something. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so he just messaged. He said, I think I'm ready-ish.
Hello.
And there we go. Hey,
Who we talk?
Hi.
Hey, Nate.
Hey.
How
So you
goes
know
it?
that issue I have with my video card where if I bump my desk wrong, it dislodges?
Fuck, you did it again.
Oh, it did it again, and it's not relodging. So I actually had to pull a laptop out of mothballs real quick and plug everything in. That's why I'm running late. Yep.
My laptop is in the shop as we speak because the coolant fan started going out, and I would be sitting and working on colors in Photoshop, and it would just.
Yeah. Right as I turned it on, it's like, oh, look, there's the Windows logo. Oh, look, there's green wavy lines.
Oh.
So, yeah, I had to dive behind my desk, unplug my webcam, unplug the soundboard, and
Yikes.
And here I am.
So we're rolling on my end. We've got the Skype backup going. I've got my audio hijack rolling. I already did sound checks for them. You're coming in fine as you usually do. Nate,
Of course.
do you have your backup rolling or no?
I'm about to now.
Okay, cool. He's got a soundboard.
Okay. I thought there was a child in there.
Oh no.
No, his child might actually
no,
come in
no.
and do that. Or a cat.
She
or
might
something.
though. Yeah. Mom's away at Universal Studios with her graduating class, the 8th graders, and so I got stuck with the kids by myself.
Fun time.
And she didn't put it on the calendar until today or yesterday.
Whoa.
She's like, "Oh, by the way."
Yikes.
Oh, man.
Okay, so you're Tim and you're Nate.
Yeah, I'm
Correct.
Tim.
I'm
We got-
C. I created this crazy comic book about a space dishwasher. So yeah,
Sounds good.
trying to and thank you guys for having me on, man. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem. I'm glad we could work you in. All right,
I'm
so
Greg, I'm just here.
it sounds like we're ready to do this. Greg, you ready?
Yeah.
With your very important. So Greg is doing the yelling the cut in because
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's what I was cueing you for, Greg.
Oh, okay.
Hey, can he
Get ready.
do the yell? Can he do the yell and cut in as Scrape, because he's pretty much got the voice characterization down?
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay, I gotta
I'm
think
for it.
about this. I can't just do this on command. See, I can't. I gotta. Okay.
You already it's halfway there, man.
Oh, God. Oh man, I gotta think about it. It's halfway there, but it's not.
Living on a prayer.
No, damn it, it's not there. It's not in my head right now.
You know what? If you can't, that's cool too. I mean, I can't scream because I can't there's people in the house asleep. And,
I understand. Are you ready, Greg?
Yeah, you want some drugs? You want some drugs?
Jesus. You ready, Nate? All right. In 3, 2, 1, cut in.
Cut in.